What really happened when Taehyung finally returned to Korea? Why did the moment suddenly become the subject of ARMY discussion around the world? And what makes Jungkook's name dragged in this big surprise? Those questions now filled the timeline, as if there was something bigger than just the return of an idol. There are small clues that at first seem trivial, but when combined, everything turns into a series of stories that leave anyone speechless. It all started when news of Taehyung's arrival began to circulate. But there was something odd about it. No sign of Jungkook was seen at the scene, even though he was usually always the first to show a reaction. The ARMY began to speculate. Was Jungkook busy? Or was there something he was deliberately hiding? A small hint emerged from the upload that he suddenly deleted, as if implying an emotion that he did not want to show openly. The more clues that appear, the greater the curiosity. To his surprise, one of the staff members said he overheard Jungkook take a deep breath and say, "He's finally home," in a tone that sounded like letting go of a burden he'd been holding for so long. Simple words, but the meaning is deep. It was as if there was an emotional distance that had not been seen publicly, and Taehyung's return became a turning point for Jungkook. It doesn't stop there. Something even more thrilling came to light when Jungkook decided to leave early from his training schedule that night. Many thought he was coming home early because he was tired, but another clue suggested something different. He was looking towards a location he rarely visited. Some fans who accidentally saw him said Jungkook seemed in a hurry, as if he was chasing a moment he didn't want to miss. And when the moment was finally confirmed by an insider, that Jungkook actually met Taehyung right after the news of his return, ARMY really couldn't contain his emotions. It's not just about the two members reuniting, but about the warmth, relief, and connection that remains strong despite the distance and busyness. A simple moment, yet it leaves a huge imprint on anyone who sees it. Now everything is clear. Jungkook's reaction was not just an ordinary surprise. It was a moment that had been hidden for so long, that ended up being revealed in the most unexpected way, and that made Taehyung's return feel more meaningful than imagined. But apparently, what is visible on the surface is only a small part of the real story. As word of the meeting began to spread, additional details emerged that made the atmosphere even hotter. Some sources say that Jungkook was seen carrying something in his hand, a small box that he hid inside a jacket. The hint led the ARMY to speculate wildly. Was it a gift? Something you've been preparing for a long time? Or a small symbol that has a special meaning between the two? The more information comes out, the clearer it becomes that Jungkook already knew of Taehyung's return long before the public knew about it. This made many fans wonder. Do they secretly keep in touch? Did something happen that the ARMY didn't know about that made Jungkook's reaction look so emotional? All those questions hang like puzzles waiting to be solved. On the other hand, Taehyung's expression when appearing in public also gave an interesting clue. There was a small glint in his eyes, like someone holding an important story. Fans who noticed the small details swore that Taehyung looked a little nervous but happy, as if he knew someone was waiting for him. And when there were reports that Taehyung had smiled broadly after receiving a short message, allegedly from Jungkook, ARMY immediately exploded in endless speculation. Even more shocking was the testimony of an airport crew who claimed to have seen Taehyung accelerate as soon as he stepped out of the arrival gate, as if he wanted to leave the place immediately. All this time, Taehyung has always been relaxed, but this time it looks different. Many associated it with the news that Jungkook was already in a certain location waiting for his arrival. While there are no photos or videos that actually confirm the moment, the series of clues that emerge feels too consistent to be considered coincidental. As rumors of the private meeting grew stronger, ARMY's emotions exploded. There are those who feel moved because they see that their closeness remains strong even though the schedules and situations these days are so complicated. Some are curious, trying to unite all the pieces of information into one whole storyline. And there are also those who cannot help but feel, imagining the moment when the two old friends finally meet face to face again after so long apart. Now, as clues and vague confessions fill the timeline, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The moment Jungkook and Taehyung met was no ordinary event. There was a warmth that couldn't be hidden, a sense of relief that was hard to disguise, and something that only the two of them knew. And that's precisely what makes this moment feel so emotional for ARMY around the world. But who would have thought? After all the speculation and pieces of information that were milling around, a new source appeared that made the atmosphere even more heated. A person from their close environment, whose identity has been withheld, said that Jungkook and Taehyung's meeting that night lasted much longer than expected. According to her, the two spent time in a very calm way, as if they wanted to catch up on all the moments that had been lost during their separation. Meanwhile, Taehyung is seen leaving his residence the next morning with a much brighter expression. Fans who took pictures from a distance said he looked light, as if the weight that had been attached had collapsed one by one. There were even rumors that he was carrying something in his jacket pocket, something that looked like a small box, provoking suspicions that it might have been Jungkook's gift the night before. All those little details come together into one big picture that makes this story even deeper, even more emotional, and even more unexpected. It felt like something that had been stuck, something they had never said publicly, had finally found its way out when Taehyung came home. Now ARMY can only wait to see if there are any signs of follow-up, maybe a couple of uploads, maybe a glimpse of interaction, or even something much more surprising. But one thing is undeniable. Jungkook's moment when Taehyung comes home is not just an ordinary moment. It was a small snippet of a larger, deeper, emotionally charged relationship, finally revealed after so long hidden behind the scenes.